I made a decision. I'm gonna win a golden demon. Adepticon. A place with many, many games, known for Warhammer 40k, Warhammer Fantasy, and Golden Demon. What does it take to get into Golden Demon? As long as you follow the rules, you can definitely submit a miniature. But can a noob gain any ground? Speaking for myself, I'm not totally sure. I got a very small background in painting minis. Half the time, I don't even start them, so my odds aren't great. But I'm going to throw my hat in the ring with one of my Plague Boys, the Icon Bear. I chose this mini because I think he's badass. He's got this huge ass icon that he's carrying around with head hanging from his side. He's got his pistol out, or his bolter. And I just think he's a cool model. Not really any other reason. Pretty basic style. I'm going to submit just a model on a base. He's going to match into my army, so should be pretty simple. But I'm not sure how to go about this. Normally I'm pretty lackadaisical when I'm chopping these guys off of the sprues, but I decided not to get too close to the actual model when I was chopping them off, so I could get a finer cut or a closer cut when I actually had the piece in my hand. And I was willing to spend some time cleaning up after the fact rather than accidentally chopping a part off from poor clipping. So I used my clippers, a really, really dull X-Acto blade, and some of these flex sanding sticks that I use to clean stuff up most of the time. And I think I'm not going to use an airbrush when I paint, but I think for my primer, I'm actually going to just I don't have an airbrush for one, but I'm just going to use a rattle can. Probably a bad idea if I want to get anywhere, but that's not really the plan, so I'm just going to go with the rattle can when I prime these guys. I got most of the lines cleaned up way more than I usually do. I drilled the barrel out. And I think I will prime it with a rattle can and then actually do the base coat in a rattle can as well. Reasoning for that, so I don't have an airbrush, and I'm not going to paint it on with a brush because that seems just as silly. But maybe using the rattle can is silly because they're known for reducing the sharpness in the models. But I'm going to do it anyways. Just mostly so it matches my army. But when I was pinning these, actually when I was deciding whether or not to do sub-assembly, it really wasn't a hard decision for me. I don't normally paint that way, but if I really want to get detail on everything, oftentimes these models will obscure certain parts of themselves and make it difficult to get your paintbrush in there. So sub-assembly for me, with one single model like this, that seemed like a no-brainer. So that's what I decided to go with. And I just have a wooden dowel that I lightly super glue the pieces onto so they can be taken off at a later time. But it'll allow me to rotate the piece, get very close in on the piece to paint, and get pretty decent results, I think. I have not tried too hard on many miniatures. Usually it's a slap chop style, black primer, white dry brush, and then some speed paints. But basically Rust-Oleum, black primer, and then I used a Liquitex base coat spray can. It's a deep purple. It's actually really transparent, so I had to spray this guy like 3 or 4 times, which definitely took some of the sharpness out of the model. And I'm not sure if I dropped it at some point, but his head, the spike on his head has a little bend in it. I'm not totally sure why, if it was from the paint but I doubt that, because I've painted a lot of models this way and I've never seen anything melt like that. So he must have fell at some point. I guess it's kind of hard to see in the footage here. My camera's terrible right now, but the detail is definitely down, particularly on the Nurgle Death Guard. They all have these concave pockets on all the models for the bullet holes, the rust holes, and stuff like that. The edges on those are pretty bad as far as sharpness goes. But I think the use of paint can kind of conceal that, as long as you're using highlights right and shadows right. But we'll see. I'm okay with where I'm at. I'm not going to strip it or anything. I think that defeats the purpose of what I'm doing here. Just a non-try-hard entry into Adepticon as Golden Demon in 2025. So it'll be my first go. I've only ever done one other painting competition, which I lost. I was rather upset about that, but it is what it is. I painted a female barbarian, it was earlier in the video, with an axe. That was the model I tried the hardest on, and I didn't win. It's a shame. But next, I'll have my color scheme. It's purple and gold, or bronze. One of the two. I haven't decided yet, but my Death Guard are desert dwellers. So the deep purples, I'll probably do a blue shade on the underside of all these guys for the shadows, just to get some color differentiation. And then the worn down armor from being blasted by sand in the desert should be really fun to attempt. And then the accent colors will be yellows and oranges and stuff like that. So they're complementary or close to complementary. Should look pretty sweet. It looks sweet in my head, so it's usually what I go for. Here's a final close-up. I'm using my phone. It's not great. It's kind of hard to see. But yeah, the divots in there are definitely soft now. But we'll work with it. It's looking good, I think. I'm happy with it. It'll look sweet. Well, the journey has begun. I absolutely will not win. I don't believe that's what I'm actually trying to do here. I'm just trying to have some fun, because it'll be my first time at Adepticon 2025, so I figured why not. I'll try my best, but it's not going to be good enough. But anybody should do it. If you can paint a mini, you should be submitting one. It's a fun exercise. I think it's good for the soul to attempt things that are hard and not get too upset about the results. Just in it to have some fun. First step is done. Not looking good so far. But if you want to follow along, you can like, subscribe. I think comments work the best. I don't know. But I hope you are interested to see what I come up with. Talk to you.